Hello everyone, welcome back to Spar&Brawl. Hope you're having a decent day. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Sam, and we're kind of starting a new series where every week it's called The Progressive World for now, where we just talk about different interviews and videos and issues that we've seen or has been talked about in the progressive world. So for this kind of first episode, we're going to start off with the ridiculous, although educational in a way, debate that Richard Wolff had with this Twitch game guy called Destiny, the rudest person I've ever seen, but more about that later. Then we're gonna talk about the Super League, the Football Super League, and Novara Media's coverage. They're a progressive, left, independent YouTube news channel out of the UK. We're gonna talk about Noam Chomsky's comments about ForceTheVote on the Vanguard podcast. And finally, wrap up with the spotlight that we're going to put on the Analysis News, which I consider to be one of the best information progressive news channels right now on YouTube. So yeah, Sam, should we get into this Destiny and Richard Wolff debate?
Sure. I must say, when you told me that such a debate has happened, I was very surprised because, because I had heard of Destiny because he was debating some other people on when you're really run out of content on YouTube and you're looking for stuff and, just the lowest level of low. I had seen him like in one of those weird few couple of his, people on the screen debates.
Yeah.
But I didn't think he would like Richard Wolff because, I thought, yeah, anyways, I was very surprised that Richard Wolff debated him. I just watched tiny bits of it. You've seen a bit more.
Yeah.
But what was your take? Did you love it?
I mean, okay,
Did you say fine?
I didn't know who the hell Destiny is. I was actually just checking out Richard Wolff videos on YouTube. I just googled him and he just happened to have done this interview a day or two ago. But I mean, I'm not surprised that Richard Wolff did the interview because he kind of seems to agree to most video interview requests. He's always game. And okay, so the title of the debate was Capitalism versus Socialism, which is insanely stupid. I'll say why at the end. I don't think that's very controversial why such an argument is stupid framed in this way, in this capitalism versus socialism. But yeah, I mean, actually, my main take is that I don't understand how someone can be this rude. I mean, you have to watch even the first 10, 15 minutes, the way the Destiny guy talks to Richard Wolff. I mean, if you saw like someone talking like that to a 5-year old or to a 10-year old, you'll be like, okay, I don't understand why you're talking to this person this way. I mean, insanely rude. I mean, I've never seen this. I've
What,
never
like
seen a
advertising?
30-year-old talk to someone twice their age this way in any context. Sorry,
Or
what were you saying?
was it patronizing or he
Yeah.
used foul language? Oh,
No, it was like as if someone's talking to like
to a
imagine
idiot.
a 16-year-old talking to a 5-year-old. Have you ever seen that? And sometimes they're like really rude and kind of aggressive, like you saying this, you that. That's how he was talking to him. I mean, it was just so off-putting. And of course, a debate. I like a debate if it's combative. And I actually wrote. This is funny. I wrote in the comment section of the video. I was like, he's so rude. What the hell is wrong with him? And then a commenter wrote that, what are you talking about? Richard Wolff was combative from like the beginning. And I'm like, I didn't get that impression, but I can see the way Richard Wolff speaks and the way he lectures. You can see that. But that's totally different. I'm not saying to be all nicey dicey during like a debate, but being rude is very different and fine. So, I mean, that was just my judgment. Maybe you have to take a look yourself and see what you think. But of course, you judge any debate based on the merits. I mean, that's that's the bigger point of it. And I mean, Richard Wolff schooled them. So at first, the guy like spoke a lot, spoke very fast, and then you could just see he was like losing his stamina and interest, like he couldn't keep up. And it was just like long Richard Wolff lectures with this guy just like talking a little bit here and there.
What did he make any interesting points or any
None,
interest?
none that I, none that I recalled. I mean, I only watched like 40 minutes of it, barely, or maybe a little bit longer. I mean, it turns into a decent Richard Wolff lecture.
Like,
Maybe there's some stuff you agree with, some stuff you don't. This guy, he thought like he was cornering him, and he keeps on asking like define socialism, and he wanted Richard Wolff to give like a, like 5 words as if you're describing a table or something. But Richard Wolff, of course, he would go back like 150 years of socialism and he'll be like, okay, here's one definition. And he kept on saying, what do you want me to do? There are multiple definitions of socialism. And this guy again would be like, no, I still don't get it. Give me And the guy isn't like, he's not a libertarian. He was like a liberal capitalist. Huh?
He voted for Joe Biden or something.
Yeah, and pretty much like anything that you pointed out that he agreed with socialism, he would say that's capitalism. Like he'll be like anything that you say, he'll be like, but that's capitalism. We have that in a capitalist system. So that was, but Richard was like that. You can have something socialist in a capitalist system. That was his main thing. And then he kept on asking. So this is the part where I think this debate of capitalism versus socialism is stupid, just saying it that way, because there's no nuance and it's completely like, it's a false dichotomy. It's never this or that, and it's not like that in the real world.
What is capitalism in theory is like theoretical capitalism is different from like what we have in effect is mixed economies, which is a mix of public ownership through a state and private ownership. So it's just, nothing in reality exists in the same perfect, theoretical. There's no perfect capitalist society and no perfect, just completely socialist society, as far as I know. So,
and then he kept on asking.
I love that he probably wanted like a 5-word answer, and that's a very good question. Let me start in 17th century.
I swear it was like that.
Groups. First, these associations in Germany formed, and
you're kind of joking, but no, that's how it went.
So there are these proto-socialist groups in Middle Ages.
But okay, I just want to finish just on the whole capitalist versus socialism. So Richard Wolff answered it beautifully, because one point he asked them, so do you want capitalist system and a socialist system? He says, right now we have a system that's predominantly capitalist with smatterings of socialism. But he says, I want it the other way around, which I thought is a great answer. That's kind of where I sit. So I really found that answer. But maybe you know more about this, or maybe the viewers can then enlighten us. Why is this guy so rude? I mean, I've never seen someone so rude. Or is it just I thought he was rude and other people thought it's just normal? And secondly, why did they speak so fast? He spoke like twice the speed of Ben Shapiro.
To remind everyone that we've spent the last decade reminding conservatives.
And the moderator too. The moderator in the beginning, when he's like, just laying out the ground rules and giving their backgrounds, he spoke so fast as if, when you read something, you're just trying to like get over it, like go through it and then maybe slow down the part that's important. So
in their respective fields. We'd like to first and foremost thank Democracy at Work, as well as Economic Update, for helping us schedule and book the good professor.
What's up with them speaking this way? Is it like a cultural thing that if you speak very fast, you're smarter?
I think it's partially maybe to do with the view, like they don't want to get their videos too long. They don't want to make their videos too long. But the rudeness and the aggressiveness and the fact that they come from gaming community, I think that's to do with the fact that
he wasn't aggressive. He was rude. He was. I wouldn't say aggressive. He was rude, like specific.
I haven't much, but a little. I've seen some like gaming community videos, and I watch Fandom Screen Junkies channel a lot, and they do a lot of stuff, cooperations with their gaming sister channels and all that. I think there is a like YouTube algorithm, and that's what they mean sometimes by like Facebook gives people like Facebook controls people's minds, or YouTube it gets you addicted, because it's sort of, apparently the YouTube algorithm and Google algorithm, they kind of favor sort of clashes and then back and forth, and then people making videos about a clash, and all of that can help you. So besides, I don't know Destiny or any of these people, but I would assume that it's kind of like it's the same. I do the same. Like when I have a bit of a combative style. When you are more combative, it tends to attract more attention. Like basically. So I think that's mainly to do with attracting more attention, because from what I've seen one debate with Destiny with somebody I forget, but I don't think there is much substance to the stuff they say. So it's more of a show for them rather than they don't really care. They just want to make you something. Oh, well, you said that, I say this now.
No,
Comments.
that's exactly what he was doing. Like you're spot
I think,
on. That was exactly his approach with Richard Wolff as well. And then if you think who won and who lost, so on Destiny's channel itself, every single comment was just about how they couldn't, like, how Richard Wolff spoke so slowly and Destiny spoke so fast, so they had to adjust the video speed. That was it. But then the video was also posted on the channel associated with the moderator. And there everyone was like, Richard Wolff, blah blah, school this, if this Destiny guy would just listen for 2 minutes and all that. So that was good to see. But yeah, I would love to know if other people thought that this guy wasn't combative. Like we spoke about Christopher Hitchens the other day. I wouldn't say he's rude whatsoever. So I just want to make this distinction. So we'd love to hear other people's opinion.
And it's different to be rude to a imaginary being than to an actual person.
And twice your age. Does the age ever play a role for you? For me, it kind of does.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe we are because we have some Eastern background or something. So there's this stereotype of the Easterners respect their elders. But I'm not like with my dad. I'm very cool, we chill and stuff. But yeah, like you've been, especially with this older stranger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
it feels like that would be especially like polite or something.
And you can have arguments with your dad. No, tell my dad, no, you're wrong about this or that. But anyway, different. Let's move on. Let's do the I mean, Richard Wolff is double his age or more. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing he's in his late 60s.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe older. I don't know. But
I mean, and this guy was 32.
And besides all of that, I love the fact that Richard Wolff, somebody who has like PhD or PhDs, I think, I'm not sure, and has done like 30 years of education, research and stuff. And this guy with no like background, with no education. Yeah, man, what is socialism? Come on, define. It's like Muhammad Ali against me, basically, or something like that.
No, exactly, ridiculous. But yeah. Anyway, people, please like and subscribe if you like this video so far, and leave your comments in the comment section below. But yeah, Sam, tell me quickly about the Noam Chomsky and ForceTheVote comment. What is that all about?
That was interesting. I didn't watch the full interview because it's hard to watch some channels. But Chomsky did an interview with the Vanguard guys, whose channels recently exploded. Very interesting channel, focused on U.S. internal politics usually. And in that, they were one of the few channels that was very supportive of ForceTheVote and Jimmy Dore's tactics or whatever, especially on Medicare for All. So they asked his take on the issue. And I think somebody had Noam Chomsky's take. And I think he had already publicly commented, I don't know, in an interview or a video interview or what. And he said that basically we should be focusing on ground level work and organizing at the ground level, because this is basically a vote that's going to fail no matter what. And he didn't see a point to it. And he said, he was somewhat dismissive, and he said, we are not children that, we should go to our room and lock ourselves up until we get the candy or whatever we want. So he was somewhat dismissive. I didn't see the Vanguard response so much, but I did see the Kyle Kulinski highlighting it. And he said, and I think Kyle Kulinski had a point that's, I think, you need a target, you need a goal to organize around, and people need something to organize around. And he gives the example of a previous law that him, Cenk Uygur, other leftist channels, like they ask their supporters to call their senators or Congress people to sign up to something, and they did it. So he said there must be a goal to achieve. So sadly, I kind of disagree there with Noam Chomsky, but I thought it was it's a interview worth watching. Chomsky is doing a lot of interviews these days. I think he's trying to basically get as much content out there as he can, because that's the type of activism he's capable of right now. And another thing that came to my mind was that I think, to be honest, we live in such a hopeless, like everybody's so hopeless. I mean, we read about alienation and Marxist definition of alienation, and then conservatives' idea of people becoming separated from each other and all that. And I never feel like I've seen it as much as I've seen it these days. I feel like people are completely especially kind of brings back after 2010s and failures of Arab Spring and pretty much failures of the Occupy movements and failures of climate change movement. All of that, I think right now people really need sort of symbolic actions, and I think maybe Noam Chomsky sort of does not value that as much. But to be fair to him, I think if you do look at studies from the past, organizing on the ground usually is more long-term, or at least in a small scale, is more effective. But I would say that if you have some symbolic things, some symbolic goals for people to unify around or to strive for, even though some of them might become a bit of a bullshit or a fantasy, they may be worth it. Because right now I feel like everybody's just, at this point, I think everybody's given up. And to a huge extent, I see a lot of people just going, fuck it, I can't help anybody. I might as well just help myself maximize my own material wealth, or maximize my own well-being, or whatever. I can't think of others, because everybody's just so pretty much states and establishment, or powers that be, whatever they may be called, during the last 10 years where there was turmoil and some backlash, they pretty well handled everything. So I think there is that general atmosphere, but I'm making a huge generalization about a certain group within a global middle class. So this is just a thought that came to my mind. I have no research backing it up. I have no empirical data, but I do think genuinely I've never felt this level of despair. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think you're a bit more in touch with university grounds these days than I am? So maybe I'm too negative.
No, I don't know. I mean, I can see that being the case. I'm just trying to think if compared to a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, if I feel like people feel like, they have less power, or they can't achieve anything or something like that, or make changes. I don't know. It's interesting.
And there is no pathway out of it, it seems. That's the crazy thing. It seems there is no alternative. So that at least if there was a fight going on, maybe you would think there's an alternative. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could say in the United States, whenever Bernie was doing good in either of the elections, felt like there was a path out, or something to improve,
Yes,
or some way to improve. But yeah, perhaps now it's harder to see. But also, and coming back to Noam Chomsky and Kyle Kulinski's comments, I mean, Noam, I'm sure, is right in certain ways, but these things are not mutually exclusive. And I mean, nobody said that this ForceTheVote thing alone is gonna make things happen. So I think I agree more with what you said and Kyle's response, more or less.
Sure. Yeah. I think so. I mean, to be, I would be. I didn't watch Chomsky's interview with Kyle and Crystal, but maybe they discussed it there as well.
When was that one? When did they do that?
I think that was about a month ago, I think.
Yeah, I don't recall at all. That one. But all these Noam Chomsky interviews are kind of sad at the same time. It feels like He's allowing anybody who wants to interview him and talk to him and get his ideas out there. Just, I don't know. He's
No, that's
92.
he's good. I think it's
Yeah,
great though.
no.
Because,
It's like
I
he's doing
mean,
a public service. He's like, okay, I don't know
yeah,
how long, so if you want to talk to me,
exactly. Yeah. I was
yeah,
very surprised that he every week he's doing a different interview, and yeah, well done. Seriously, like well done. Yeah.
yeah. No,
All right.
amazing output. But this story actually kind of relates to your whole take right now. So, but
Mm.
people feeling more hopeless and all this. So the whole Super League drama in the football world. So just a quick background for people who might not be too familiar. Basically, owners of 14 huge football clubs in Europe came out and they said, "Hey, we're gonna start our own league." And they said this on Sunday or Monday of this week, and it got like the craziest backlash I've ever seen. So
So
I'm
what
kind of
what
into it. I'm too much into it. Maybe like, what kind of angle did you want to take? What did you find to be interesting since you're not so much into football?
Sure. Look, I came across it through Novara Media because it became a massive issue in the UK because I mean, the angle that I came to it, I suppose, was that they were gonna Americanize the European Football League in that they're gonna have a fixed 16 team that are the best. So you're not gonna have as many, basically, like let's say as many like a top team in Poland playing it. I don't know what's the top team in Poland. Like not as famous teams playing Real Madrid or Barcelona, playing Brighton suddenly. Like let's say playing I don't know Paris Saint-Germain. So they were trying to basically put the top, like the most famous, the most branded. Because from what I understand after talking to you today, Manchester United, Arsenal, these teams are not necessarily doing particularly well in the Premier League in terms of ranking, but
Yeah,
they
no,
are the most
exactly. So
famous
you got
brand.
it pretty much right. So right now the European teams, like the ones who do the best in their own country, then they go kind of to this Champions League and it's whoever does best. So sometimes it's not the most famous teams that make it. But yeah, they wanted to create a 20 team league where they would take the most famous. Like I said, Arsenal are like 10th in the Premier League right now. West Ham, which is a much smaller team, are about to finish fourth. That means they would get into the Champions League potentially. And yeah, so there would be no competition. That's how the Europeans see it because they're saying if you finish 20th in that league, you never go to another division and there isn't another team that gets the chance to come, right? That's how it works in Europe. So yeah, just wanted to clarify that part
Yeah.
that you were saying, but yeah.
So no, but basically this Super League would have had the more fixed teams in it. I think two of them would have switched or something every year or something. But then, yeah, it was suddenly announced. A lot of people said there had been talks of this before, but they
Yeah,
never dared to do it because now there was the Corona pandemic, so they saw an opportunity. All these billionaires got together. So that was the angle that I was given pretty much, that these billionaires all conspiring to basically sort of make more money out
and the
of this.
billionaires are the owners of those clubs.
Yes.
So, I
And
mean, I don't know in the case of Spain or Italy, but the 6 English leagues, for instance, yeah, they're all pretty much owned by individual billionaires or billionaire families. Mainly
or
American and one Russian.
like
I know.
yeah, sovereign states like
Yeah.
Qatar.
Yeah.
But
Well, Qatar doesn't have one
apparently,
in the case of UAE.
it's really interesting. Apparently, the owners themselves, a lot of like the Chelsea owner, apparently was against it. A lot of the board were against it. Like apparently, it was more of a CEOs sort of
Not
managerial.
CEOs, the owners. I mean, all the coaches and everybody, all the players, they all
Apparently,
came out saying we hadn't heard about
yeah,
this.
yeah,
That
yeah,
it was
exactly.
just that it was just dumped on them pretty much.
But
Although, yeah,
apparently,
rumors and talks have
the
go back
owner
over a
of
decade.
Chelsea apparently wasn't a fan. Like
No,
owners
he
of
he he
Tottenham
said I
and
was.
Arsenal, actually.
Yeah, I mean the Chelsea guy came out quickly, and his context a bit different. So he's Russian, and he spent a lot of money on the team that he bought 20 years
And
ago,
he likes
Chelsea.
actually, yeah.
Huh?
And he actually likes that team.
And
He's
he
not
goes
just
to all the games and like he
yeah.
spent a ton of his own money. Whereas like the Arsenal owner, Kroenke, who's married to a Walmart heiress, he doesn't spend like a dime. But this guy, and so basically he came out and said that I was advised wrongly. Nobody told me that the fans would take it this way, and that, you know, and all of this. So he came out first. I can see
And
how he was scared.
let's talk about how fans took it, because that was crazy, man.
That's
Like,
what I mean, right? Some
child poverty
optimism.
doesn't. No, it's really funny. Child poverty in the UK does not bring people out, but
Yeah.
they went fuck. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like their protest. I mean, go. You tell us some of the
No, I mean,
things you.
it was insane. People were fuming. I mean, some of these like pundits who work for huge corporations like Sky, they turned into like Che Guevara suddenly, and
I'm disgusted, absolutely disgusted. I'm disgusted with Manchester United and Liverpool most. I mean, Liverpool, they pretend, you know, you'll never walk alone, the people's club, the fans club. Manchester United, 100 years, born out of workers around here. And they're breaking away into a league without competition that they can't be relegated from. It's an absolute disgrace. And honestly, we have to wrestle back the power in this country from the clubs at the top of this league. And that includes my club. And I've been calling for 12 months as part of another group for an independent regulator to bring checks and balances in place to stop this happening. It's pure greed. They're imposters. They're imposters. They're nothing to do. The owners of this club, the owners of Liverpool, the owners of Chelsea, the owners of Manchester City, they're nothing to do with football in this country. There are 100 and odd years of history in this country from fans that have lived and loved these clubs. And they need protecting. The fans need protecting.
we're talking about like Gary Neville is like talking about the history of Man U, how it was built by workers, and now these imposter billionaires have come and they're doing whatever they want and they don't care about the fans. And competition, I think it's the competition thing, which I wouldn't have assumed, that really put everybody, like arrange all the interests of these different parties. Because UEFA and FIFA, they were probably pissed off because this Super League was going to be done without them. That means money would eventually be taken from them. Money would be taken eventually from the TV contracts. And logistically, you can only play so many games. That means they would have had to gotten rid of some of their tournaments. So that was their kind of interest kind of thing. I think Sky and stuff, some of these other corporations, they already have the TV rights here, and they probably thought they're not going to get the TV rights. So I think that was their interest. And then there was the football thing with and the football fans saying no competition. And UEFA came out immediately and said, okay, if you play part of this league, you'll be banned from our European and Champions League and also FIFA World Cup. So they just like threw that on the players and the fans. And then the players were coming out saying like the most Marxist stuff you've ever heard, some of them, and talking about, you know, the place of football, it's about the fans and the love and all this. But it was insane how quickly these guys like backed out. These like billionaires within 2 days.
Yeah, that's the thing. It happened so fast. I think, to be honest, I think what ended it, at least for the 6 English football clubs, because even after they dropped that Juventus guy was, no, we're gonna go ahead, but then he had to drop it. But for them was that British government also came out against. They saw a chance to sort of, write the public opinion, and this is a disgrace. Everybody came out
and look after their own interest, because you know their organizations and their institutions, their football organizations would have their favorite, their wealthy, their billionaires would have lost. I'm guessing because it was really, these guys really tried to do their own thing. It seems like zero coordination.
Yeah, that's
with
the thing.
anyone.
But the thing is, though, usually British government has tendency to side with the millionaires and all that. So it was quite a strange.
And they're still doing. There's a whole other set of billionaires who run Sky, and you know, we always talk about how corrupt FIFA is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Michel Platini went to jail.
Exactly. I mean, all these things shouldn't be.
I love the UEFA statement after the 6 English ones. They said that they're coming back. It was literally like out of a mafia movie. Yeah, we are glad that these 6 clubs, they're back in the fold. And, we take that into consideration. Only a finger, only one finger for them. For the other ones, the whole hand.
Yeah, no,
So
it
interesting.
cost them a bit. I mean, CEOs and presidents did have to resign and get fired, but some of these owners, and on Novara Media, they brought this guest, and he points it out. I mean, the British government and the FA and all this had no problem with money coming in, like 20 years ago and so when they made like the Premier League and all the money that's come, and now England has, 6 or 7 huge clubs. They had no problem there. But of course now it's a different set of people that'll go against their interest. And the Premier League and stuff, Premier League is like a new league that they made, but it fit into the structure, right? This whole competition thing was really insane how it struck a chord with it, like among normal people.
Yeah, I watched that, and he explained, that Premier League was a Thatcherite basically idea and all that. I don't know how but that was interesting. I really didn't know about the history of that.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the history of Premier League either.
Yeah, check that. It's a fun story to check out because within 3 days there was this like rebellion which basically fizzled out.
Yeah, and I mean all parts of the government and stuff, Speaker of the Parliament, or whatever. Everyone.
Like even the leader of Liberal Party, who has support of basically 4.5 people, including his own mom, and even he came out. Like, he wanted to make it clear to that 4.5 people, I don't stand.
Yeah. And no, it's hilarious. And I mean, so I'm an Arsenal fan, so that's why I know more about Arsenal. But yeah, Arsenal, like people who like it, including Piers Morgan, they're not letting this go. They see this as a moment for the owner, Kroenke, to also get kicked out or leave. But like I said, he's the owner, so good luck convincing this guy who lives in the States who doesn't give a shit about football. That's the funny part. So you can't even like hurt him like that. So I don't know how or when that's gonna happen. But this guy has just ruined like the team.
The talks are that in UK right now there were talks that they should go the German style. So that's one of the reasons they say the British ones backed out so quickly, because suddenly people started talking about that we're gonna do a fan ownership type thing. And apparently there are legal ways that fans can do that or something. They can, with enough signal or something. So yeah, they may have freaked out over that as well. That may have helped.
I think that's a very good point. Yeah, let's
not go
cut
crazy.
Damage. Yeah.
let's calm down, everybody, and play football. Good football, good old fashioned football.
No, exactly.
But yeah, that was check. Yeah, I think worth checking out their coverage.
We'll link to everything we're talking about in this video.
Sure.
Okay, let's move on to the last story of our little progressive world story. So thank you anybody who's watching. Please like and subscribe. But yeah. Huh?
Who's still watching?
Yeah.
After all,
the few thousand people who are still watching. It's not in the millions. But yeah, please like and subscribe. But okay, so the last one is kind of a spotlight that I wanted to do on like a progressive YouTube news channel and progressive pundits and everything. And so for this week, I wanted to go with the analysis news. So I mean, I find them to be extremely informative. They only started about a year ago. So the founder is Paul Jay, and he previously founded The Real News. So I'm not sure if people are familiar with The Real News Network, but about 10, 12 years ago, it was one of the only progressive YouTube channels, along with Democracy Now! And the Young Turks. I can't think of too many other big channels that were around back then.
They were one of the more professional ones rather than a pundit.
Yeah.
Back then.
But I mean, all the new people, I can't think of any of them that were around. Then maybe Kyle probably started a few years after that, I think around
Kyle
that time.
Started 2010. But but Real News, Young Turks, and Democracy Now! Were going for a more formal like news look, I felt anyway. Like
and
more
Democracy
news
Now! Is
rather than
older.
commentary. Yeah, Democracy Now! Is like, I think Democracy Now! May have been founded in the Middle Ages by Cenk Like the production quality and that they don't have HD cameras. Like what is going on?
Well, let's save Democracy Now! For another spotlight, because
All right.
in terms of information, they're also dope. But yeah, so this week, Analysis News did this interview with Gerald Horne, and it was really a great talk. So Paul J. and Gerald Horne, they pretty much broke down and talked about the context, historical background, and everything of the Chauvin trial. So really great to watch. And Gerald Horne's American historian. I've met him through Analysis News and also the Real News Network. Both of them, at least. So, no, sorry. Like I've come across
All
them.
right. All
Come
right.
across him there.
For a second, I thought.
Yeah, and I think he writes a lot about slavery, Jim Crow, slavery in Brazil. I read his book a while ago, like 7, 8 years ago, about slavery in Brazil. It was very interesting about the different contexts. And I believe slavery in Brazil even finished later than in the US. But slaves had a slightly different life, I
Role.
think. Yeah, life and role, apparently, in Brazil. But yeah, I can't remember. It was a while ago when I read the book. But yeah, great interview, and the Analysis News itself, I mean, a great channel. Paul J, he's been a journalist, documentarian forever. He started the Real News Network, and then it was based in Baltimore, so now it's more like a Baltimore-centered channel since he's left. So I think he just
I've
restarted the
seen
same thing.
I've seen their contributors come on the Hill to talk about like internal American issues sometimes. But yeah, I don't check out their stuff. It's very internal politics
Yeah,
now.
internal and Baltimore. Whereas, yeah, Paul J,
Yeah.
when he ran the Real News, and even now he does internal, but he also does a lot of foreign policy. And he usually has like a reoccurring set of guests. And I mean, just the ones he's had recently are amazing. He's had Thomas Frank, of course, Matt Taibbi, Noam Chomsky. These are people that you see everywhere. But he also has like Phyllis Bennis who comes. She's great. Larry Wilkerson. He's pretty good and different. He worked in the Bush administration and all that. And he also has Bill Black who comes on. I don't know if you've met Bill Black.
No.
He's a white guy and he talks about financial scams and financial issues. And he's one of these guys, you know, like when they're talking about a scandal, they find it themselves so funny and they're like laughing their ass
Ah,
off.
nice.
So,
Huge self-professed Christian when he isn't defrauding people.
so he had a
I
recent
like
one
that.
about how banks like lost 20 billion in like some risky deal that they took. He's like dying laughing, like telling the story of like how it happened, and then he's like, and the regulators, they didn't even, and then like he just like starts like dying while he's giving
He has
his take.
yeah, what was it? I think he has Matt Taibbi on one time as well.
Yeah, no, it's
I
big
think-
guys.
And
So-
Gerald Horne, he came on Katie Halper's show once and Useful Idiots once.
Exactly.
He's really great. And I was just thinking, like, he's one of those people who doesn't subscribe to any specific, like, I'm a Marxist or I'm a liberal or this definition, because most academics don't, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all fluid and flexible. So I would love to see a debate with him and Destiny. Because I think Destiny might kill himself. Because he's like, what do you mean by Marxism? Marxism, M comes from English alphabet. A, it's all a social construct.
No, yeah, seriously. No,
And
he's
so
great.
funny. Did you notice? He's
Yeah, no,
quite
yeah.
like a, no, because there is Norman Reedus, if I'm not mistaken. Oh
Not
no, that's the name.
familiar.
There is another American scholar who talks about similar issues. I forget his name, but anyway, he's very serious. But Gerald Horne is just so much fun. He's talking about, oh yeah, slavery and yeah.
Yeah, no, he's easy to listen to. So
Yeah,
definitely
great.
big shout out. Go subscribe
I
to.
wish he did his own audiobooks. That would have been
And,
great.
yeah, and he has a nice voice to listen to, and he's good. But yeah, go check out Analysis News. Go check out this Gerald Horne and Paul J. They break down everything about problem with police.
specific? Oh, you
Solutions. Yeah, it's about the Chauvin trial. But then just final spotlight related. So when Paul J used to work or used to run the Real News Network, he started this interview series called Reality Asserts Itself. and it's amazing. So he brought on like the biggest progressive people you can think of. I'll name a few, and pretty much the structure was that there will be 4 or 5 interviews. I'll link to some below, cut into 4 or 5 pieces, and usually the first or second part were kind of biographical. So how did you reach these kind of opinions? What did your parents? The most interesting ones is like he's like, what were your parents like politics during this time? And you hear that when people start getting like specific, it kind of gives away with like these generalizations, because they're talking about like a specific year. So Paul is like, was this and this big? He's like, well, actually in 74, blah, blah, blah. If you remember precisely during that time, there was this. So it's super, super interesting. And he pretty much has interviews with Chris Hedges in this format. Amazing. Vijay Prashad, Phil Donahue, Larry Wilkinson, Norman Finkelstein, Max Blumenthal, so many others. So you have to go check out these
Max
interviews.
Blumenthal, is reality Assert itself is still going on?
No, but he was already big. So with Max Blumenthal, it was done 10 years ago, and he had just released his second book, which I forgot. It's on the Israeli-Palestinian issue.
All right.
Yeah,
I just a bit
Max
surprised
Blumenthal been killing it forever.
Yeah.
We need to do a spotlight on them and the Gray Zone.
Oh,
week.
we've mentioned a lot.
But under this new format of the show. Okay, now it's called Spotlight.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Are there gonna be like graphics when Spotlight is with a spotlight?
When we start making some money.
Yeah.
But okay, this was super fun.
YouTube logo.
Yeah. Do you have anything else, or should we wrap it up?
No. To be honest, something came to my mind during this. We haven't prepared for this, but Ben Burgis, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right,
I
but
know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He contributes to Jacobin a lot, and on his own YouTube channel, him and a couple of his friends, I would assume, but colleagues as well. I didn't know any of them, to be honest. They did a breakdown of the old Cenk Uygur Sam Harris debate, which was basically a takedown of Sam Harris, and I really enjoyed that.
Oh, really?
It was, even though I don't agree with everything they said I enjoyed it because it's just Sam Harris is talking. So it's not that he's talking wrong as well, and that's the thing. Like if I show that interview to somebody who's a normal person and doesn't do philosophy or politics, they say, okay, he's saying normal stuff. It's not weird. But because they were all like political scientists or whatever, it was just it was so interesting. Somebody take him out, one of them makes a great point about the fact that, for example, Sam Harris is saying that terrorist organizations are more dangerous because there is somebody who's being bullied every day, somebody is coming and hitting them every day, and then the person who's get bullied, he says that I'm gonna fucking kill you, and then because of that victim is worse because he's gonna kill them, and if we're gonna give them a weapon, they're gonna kill the bully. So the bully is the good guy actually in this case. So they just take.
That's like Sam Harris argument, right?
Yeah, that's basically Sam Harris because they take his idiotic analogies, in my view, to their natural conclusion, which shows how stupid it is. He's But anyway, that was a fun one if you're interested in that. So yeah, I enjoyed that. It was more it's good to get drunk with that, to be honest.
Okay.
Every time Sam Harris says hypothetical, take a shot.
Okay. Yeah, in this context, definitely go Cenk. I mean, regardless of what's happened recently between Cenk and the...
I must say, I didn't like Cenk's debate. They don't really focus on Cenk. They just focus on Sam Harris's statements and some of his book statements. But yeah, I didn't like Cenk's arguments with him at all. Cenk, I don't think argued well. I think he was right, but he didn't argue it well. But that just came to my mind. I thought I because that came out this week. So check it out.
Great stuff. Okay, that's it. Please, if anybody has any criticisms, thoughts, questions, comments, leave them in the description box below. Sorry, in the comment section. Usually when we have a lot of them, we address them. Huh?
Or if you want to compliment us on our looks.
Or that too.
Or whatever, man. I don't know.
And of
Not-
course, do all
yeah.
this after you've liked and subscribed. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a given. But okay.
That's a good-
All right. Well, thank you for watching this first episode of The Progressive World. Although we did a video last week or 2 weeks ago called the same thing, but now it's more official. So this was the first episode.
That was
And
the
yeah,
test.
yeah, that was a test, exactly. So thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.